Hello, welcome to a quick video tutorial just taking you through the initial steps to set up your Mailchimp plugin. So, in order to get started, once you've installed and activated your plugin, you will need a Mailchimp API key, which can be sourced from the extras section within Mailchimp's account dashboard. So once you have a valid API key generated, we can then enter that in. So I'll just grab mine. Okay, we paste that in. It's advisable that the initial update flags are disabled during your initial setup phase so as to ensure that sync's not triggered whilst you're just setting things up. And it's also advisable if you have pre-existing Mailchimp lists to just make backups just in case. So you just can always revert back, worst case scenario. So okay, so once we have our API key entered in, we just update that. And as you can see, we have a number of additional subsections which are now showing. So this enables us to select available Mailchimp lists which we want to sync with our DT instance. So in this case, we just have a single list which we'll add. Okay, and once added, that is now assigned to our supported Mailchimp list section. So before we move on to creating our mappings, I'll just quickly just highlight these two sections down here. So by default, we'll always be working with contacts, but you also have the ability to select other post type if needed, as well as default fields. Again, by default, we'll just mainly be working with text, com channel field types, as well as multi-select fields, which will map with Mailchimp's interest category groups. So what I'll do now, so if we jump back to our supported list section, we are now prompted to create our mappings. So if I click through there, it will take us to the mappings tab. And by default, what it does for you, it creates the standard default fields, namely email, first name, last name. So on our left hand side, we have our Mailchimp fields, okay, as sourced. And on our right hand side, we have available contact fields as filtered by field types, okay. And it's like I said, for the most part, it's automated the heavy lifting for you, and it's created the relevant mappings, or the main common mappings for you, okay. But if you have additional mappings, you just say like so, and let's say you want a phone number, okay, coming in from Mailchimp. Where's our phone? Here we are. There we have phone. Okay. Now, also in special cases, your Mailchimp account might also consist of interest category groups. Okay, like we have here. So if we were to, argument's sake, select an interest group called mailing list, say, okay, and then we will then map it to a corresponding field. Now it's worth mentioning that this must map to a corresponding multi-select field, okay, with identical option labels across the two fields in order to ensure a valid match can be carried out, okay. And with regards to the options section, for now, during your initial setup, they can be ignored. But for example, they enable additional sort of operations during during the sync process at the field level. So in this instance, you have the ability to disable again at the field level the direction of the sync if you wish to have just DT push its updates to Mailchimp. You can do so, or if you just wish just only to receive Mailchimp updates, you can do so, or in both directions again. You just enable both, and again that's at the field level. So to save our latest mappings, we just click on update. Okay, and if we head back to our general tab, you see our status has now changed. Okay, from um, prompting us to create mappings to the ability to jump back and forth now to what we already have saved. Okay, so we now have all our mappings saved, and we are more or less good to go. Okay, so what would happen once our sync is underway? It will keep just a snapshot of the last successful updates in the respective sync direction. So if it was from Mailchimp to Disciple.Tools, or if it vice versa, Disciple.Tools to Mailchimp. So you just have a running snapshot of what's been happening. Any exceptions, again, are displayed underneath the sync status, as well as the overall sync run timestamp. So you're pretty much now all set up, good to go. So what will happen once you enable your sync is that the initial run would establish links across records, across both platforms, or create records as needed. And from that point, it would sync every minute in the respective sync direction and update accordingly. So you are now good to go. And don't forget to update to enable your sync processes. Thank you.